Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Beyond the South Stand International Week Special with me, Jez Davies. I'm, of course, joined with the absolute quiffage of Dereham Town, Mr. Morgan Hewitt. How are you, Morgan?
I'm well. Other than that, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm really looking forward to today's episode. Actually, we've had about 10-minute intro chat with him before coming on, and I can already tell it's going to be an absolute classic. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Mr. Connor Sanderson. Please introduce yourself, sir, and perhaps just tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. Hello, I am Connor, like he just said. I've been a football coach for many years with a disability, so I'm just a football coach with a disability that's been coaching. I've coached ladies, coached a bit of men's, and I've coached mainly youth. So yeah, ladies for the last 2 years, and then been coaching youth for 5.5 years now. So yeah, okay. Quite good, quite fun, enjoyable, love it.
Would you be comfortable sharing with the viewers what your disability is?
Yeah, I have something called lumbosacral genesis, which means I'm missing 2 parts of my spine, which is part of my lumbo and sacrum, and then I am missing my whole femur. So that's why I'm short, because the femur is the longest bone in your body. So, of course. Yeah.
And how do I put this? How debilitating is that on a day-to-day basis? Do you have to sort of take medication for it, or is it is it quite manageable?
No, so it's not too bad. Like, don't get me wrong, long distances when I'm like walking, when I mean long distance, I mean long distance to me and you, not just long distance to me. There is no like difference, but a long distance to me is I just can't cope with it as much as other people. My legs would fatigue just a little bit more in the way that I could carry on, but they'll just hurt in different ways to what you guys will, of course, have.
Understand.
So yeah, so okay. It's not too bad. I don't really take anything.
I mean, in some ways, do you see, and obviously we are going to jump into some of the questions, but do you sometimes see that perhaps it's being a bit of a benefit, particularly when you're coaching children, because you sort of, I always know, obviously I'm a qualified coach, of mainly women's football I've coached in, but I've done a few youth sessions, and I think sometimes eye-to-eye contact is very important. Do you see that as an advantage, would you say?
Hey, sorry. You just said eye-to-eye contact, and I just being small, thinking I don't have eye-to-eye contact. But yeah, yeah, I understand what you mean. But yeah, I think it helps a lot more with the fact that, I don't know, like, I'm more on their level, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But more on their level of like understanding. Like, I feel that with someone with a disability, I can understand challenged kids, and not just challenged kids, just kids alone. Like, they can see that I can do it, so they can do it. If I could do something, I can put my mind to it. Why can't they? Especially with someone with a disability. So I think that's said so many people, so much with people with disabilities, but they don't mean it. And I really do mean the fact that me having a disability can show to other people that they can do it and not give up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest part for me, is the fact that you're out there. And I only saw you on I think it was probably Instagram. You know, when you sort of flicking through your reels. I think it was Instagram.
Yeah,
and I've obviously, as I mentioned,
yeah, already, you mentioned on Instagram, so yeah.
Yeah, that I obviously was coaching women's football. And I don't know if obviously that was the link, and I saw it. And I thought, bloody hell, this guy's, you know, you could see obviously the respect that you earned from the girls on the team, and you know, it was great.
I did love it. I still keep in touch. I still keep in touch with like I said, all of them, and I do like still stuff for them if I need to. I said I'll come back and do sessions, but like we spoke about, which we'll probably speak about later, it was just getting a lot of the fact that I was just doing so much, because my main job is youth. I've been doing youth 5.5 to 6 years now, so it's just been my main job since.
When you say your main job, is that your day-to-day stuff? Then is that what you're doing as a full-time job?
So yeah, my main job. So I'm a football coach, and I'm a PE coach. So I coach in schools, primary schools around my area. So yeah,
fantastic.
Good fun.
Okay, so perhaps sort of jumping into some of the questions then, Connor. What's the most rewarding part of coaching youth football, and what's something that most people don't realise about it?
I think the most rewarding part about coaching youth football is it sounds very silly, but them wanting to come back, and enjoy the actual
Yeah.
sport itself. I feel some coaches, of course, I'm all about trying to get the kid to be a better player. But at the academy I coach at, so I coach it, of course, Estrella, and like we spoke about, that's my company that I work with. And that the company, we've always had the philosophy of we want to make the kid a better person and then a better player. I think that's the main part of being able to get the kid to be a better person and like all that kind of stuff. But not just that, like want them to come back, like I said, but also just being there for them and having someone like a mentor. Like people need that in their life, so of course they can go to their parents and all that, but a kid, like, sort of, for example, someone that loves football, they want to be able to look up, well, not look up, but you look up
Yeah.
kind of to their coaches and to people that they inspire not just to be, but who inspire them, which I'd like to think I inspire quite a few people. And same as other coaches that coach youth football, they inspire people, and not just I've got a disability, I inspire people, but hopefully most coaches inspire their kids to want to strive and all that.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke to I don't know when this episode will go out, but like we spoke to a youth coach based where I'm based in Norfolk, in a place called Dereham, and he teaches youth from 5 through to teenagers. Lewis Stone, Viper
Yeah.
Stone coach, and we talked about something similar. Like when I grew up playing football, I used to love playing football after school in the estate that I grew up in. We'd all go to this particular area, like a little pen area with a bit of grass and some goalposts, and it was great. But then when I transposed that to joining a football club proper, as it were, because I didn't have a lot of money. My mum didn't have a lot of money at the time. Didn't have great kit. I didn't have the latest boots, and so it was really difficult as a kid to fit in. And then when you have, and funnily enough, I talked about this today. When you have, because I'm a defender I was a defender, I was a left back in the changing room, whatever. But because I wasn't a forward, or I wasn't a playmaker, or I wasn't a winger. It was kind of like I was just kind of left to one side, and like the coaches at the time, we're talking early 90s, they didn't really care. And it was I hated going to football practice, and I was doing it for like 18 months. And I think this is partly the reason this podcast exists, as a vindication for me. But what I'm getting at is you're completely correct. If you can be there for that child at that point, not only are they learning a bit about
Yeah.
football or their position in the team or whatever, it doesn't matter, but they're growing their self-confidence. And like at that point in their lives, it's a really important integral point of their lives as they grow up into go to middle school or go on. If you're at that level, and when I was a kid, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I was kind of being undermined by people, where's my trust in? Where am I going with that? So I think
Exactly.
what you're saying is a really, really integral part of youth development. So all power to you, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing that at development football, like you said, of course you were left back, maybe that is your position, but I think that's another thing that's not used enough. Development football, you don't have fixed positions when they're under sevens, under eights. Just let them play wherever they want. Like, let them try in new places. They're not going to know where they want to play. You can't force them to play somewhere. You only know by getting them to play. Development football, I do not. I get it's very controversial. I do not like people that put scores going. Oh, we thrashed this team 15-0 today. When they're under eights, I'm like, no, come on, they're under eights, they're under nights. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, just let your kid enjoy football. Let them go out and have fun and experience the game until it does get to that. Because of course, it does get to a level of harshness. Like, academies can be harsh, for example. But that's academy standard. You're expected for that. But when it's grassroots or anything like that, just let them enjoy it. It's development football at that young age. When they get older, of course, then you need to start looking a bit more into, right, this is your position. This is where I want you to play every week. You need to get this position right. That's understandable. When they've not got a position at under sevens, under eights, maybe pushing under even nines, like, come on.
Yeah,
It's one of
yeah, and
those, I think.
I completely agree, and I think equal game time as well is key, because very similar age to Morgan, without giving it away. And there was times where I'd turn up on a Sunday or a Saturday, and I'd probably get 5 minutes if I was lucky. And what does that do to a child's confidence or their mental state if they're only getting 5 minutes? I think nowadays it's different.
Exactly.
And some coaches. I mean, I've heard of stories of some coaches still doing that, where they've got their elite squad, and then little Johnny only gets 5 minutes.
I've seen it,
and it's horrible.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit. Like I said, it's mental, because I mean, I've seen it from both ends. So I, of course, coach at my academy. So I coach it for my job, and that's just training. That's just working on the player itself, or as a team still, but no games or anything like that. So we don't do games at the place I work for. We just do our philosophy, which is, of course, understanding how, why, when, where. So, for example, how to pass the ball, why you're passing the ball, when you're passing the ball. We focus on that kind of stuff. We focus on the philosophy of enjoying the game, being a better player as well as a better footballer, and then we let them go and do their grassroots football. But I also coach a grassroots team, so that I've been coaching them since they were under nines, and they're now under 12s. I've been coaching them for quite a long time. I've enjoyed it. I love it, but I've seen it throughout the time I've been coaching youth football. And of course, that's my voluntary thing I do on the side. I love doing it. I would not look back on the team. I've been with them since they were under nines, like I said, and I've been with the manager that I coach with since under nines. He asked me to come on board, and I'd done it with him. It was the best decision I made, especially as a coach. And this is another thing. I think that's very different. Being a young coach and not having a kid. So I don't have a kid on the team, of course. So, of course, the manager that I've got work with me is the dad of a player. I think it's quite a nice experience seeing it from my view of the fact that I'm not a parent, so I'm not going to have a favourite. I'm not saying all parents do that, but some do. You would. I mean, you would. Let's be real. It's your kid. You want them to strive and to succeed. I totally understand that. But I think it's quite nice that, because I'm not a parent, I can see it from my side and see it from a non-parent side of helping the player develop as well as still getting them play. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Great word. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean, don't give him too much of a big head, Connor, because he's a massive one anyway, and he struggles to get through always.
Hardly fits in the screen anyway. Yeah.
But I mean, it was. I think you've got some. Some really good. I mean, one question I'd say to both of you is, do you think that I mean, there'll be older viewers of this episode, and they'll be thinking, well, aren't we just mollycoddling the children by trying to? But I mean, again, from my perspective, if I had had a good coach growing up, I don't think I'd have lacked that self-confidence that has sort of dogged me going through my teenage years into my 20s. I think that
Go on, Connor. I'll let you go first, Connor.
No, I was thinking, definitely. I think there's a big difference between being beside the kid the whole time and going, yeah, you can do it, blah blah blah, and actually believing in them. And I think that's the difference. I think there is a big difference. Believing in them instead, you don't need to hold their hand. Sometimes you might be harsh on them, but you need to believe in them, and that's the thing that's the difference from what maybe they did in the olden days, and maybe to what some viewers might be thinking, well, you're just being like basically their babysitter. No, there's a big difference. You have to believe in them for them to strive. As you believe in them, they get the self-confidence, like you said. If you don't have a coach that don't believe in you, like I said, they don't need to be holding the hand. They don't need to be running on the pitch and sideline with them going, yeah, you can do it. Don't need that. What I'm saying is there's a big difference of believing in them and saying, kind of coaching them and not giving up on them even if they make a mistake. Like we say, our training is designed to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, and that's our job to make you better, to coach you to be better. And I think there's a big difference between, like you said, cuddling in them all and all that kind of stuff, like getting them to be your best friend. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, you need to believe in them to be able to get them to strive and to like you as a coach. If they don't like you as a coach, they're not going to enjoy the sport. If they don't enjoy you coaching them, they're not going to enjoy the sport. If they don't have your belief, they're not going to enjoy the sport. I think that there's a big difference between, of course, what viewers might think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd 100% agree with that. Jez, I mean, over to you. You've been in the game at different levels. What do you think?
No, I completely agree with what Connor said. I think it's probably a time where, and I've got to be completely honest with you both. Probably a time where I did think that. I kind of thought, well, why are we not? Why are we having non-competitive games here? What's the purpose of that? But I get it now. So I'd say I'm a bit of a convert with stuff like that. And I've got a former youth coach just walked through the door, and she took an under 9s, under 10s all the way through to under 16s. And she, another neutral coach as well. She did not a mother of any of the girls, but to see them from under 10s to go to under 16s, and I actually took a couple of their players when they reached that level, and you know, it was just great to see that development of those players. But I don't think that would have happened if A, they didn't have someone like Fiona out there with them, but also B, you know, they didn't have that kind of togetherness as well, where they knew they were all going to get the similar game time, if not the same game time, and go at the same pace development wise. So yeah, no, I think it is really, really, really crucial for kids' mentality and social development that they have that. Because I'll tell you what, if they didn't have that, there'd be some weeks where the kid would go, don't really fancy it this week. It's -2 outside, or maybe not -2 because the pitch might be frozen, but it's really cold outside. It's windy. It's wet. It's pissing it down. Why am I going to bother if I'm only going to get 2 minutes? But now they now know that they're going to get half hour. I don't know, 40 minutes or whatever. I don't know how. I can't remember off the top of my head what youth football is these days. I think it's about 60 minutes, isn't it, Connor?
So my team do 60 minutes. They do 15, 15, 15, 15, or 30 and 30. Depends what the coaches want.
No, definitely. And I think it's so it's a much better experience now, and I get it. And you made a great point earlier, Connor, about the score line to get posted where it's like 15, 16 nil. I mean, I remember what made me laugh was when you said during the olden days when me and Morgan played during the olden days.
I'm not saying you're old, by the way, just saying you know.
Thanks.
That's
I'm not calling you old, just
no, that's absolutely
fine.
We are.
I'm old. It's fine.
15-0 and 16-0 was a scoreline that quite regularly happened when I played football. Tatham versus Lakeford, or turned up to the Hewitt school once, and they had a Norwich player playing from in the academy, and he scored like 8 goals, and you're like, what's the point in this? But it is what it is.
There's a lot of rules that came into place for that, of course, though, isn't there? There's a lot of rules that came into place. Like I think the academies aren't allowed to play with grassroots team; they're only allowed to play their school team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Exactly that.
But I've got one question for you two. I've seen this the other week. I think about a month ago now. Is it true that I've seen under 7s are now doing 2v2s?
I haven't seen it.
I swear I've seen this.
It's not to say it hasn't happened.
I swear I've seen it. Like it's no longer like 5v5. It's like 2v2s or something like that, or 3v3s.
I think it might be 3v3s, because I've seen it.
True, that's mental.
Yeah.
3v3s. What?
You know what they're doing, though, don't you?
Is the FA trying to kick people out and not want people to play?
Yeah, it's something that's been introduced. Future fit, tailoring youth football to fit even better and mean even more to all young players in England. And I haven't even read this article, but I would say it's about making sure that the players get as many touches as possible.
Mm.
I don't know. I just think you're right. I just think it's a bit.
I rate it, but then at the same time, teams are going to be like, "Oh, we're full," and there's going to be so many people without a team.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts. But then I see their thoughts, but then I also see the thoughts of they're not going to have a lot of teams that they'll have 3 players and that's it, or 4 players maybe for a sub.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just
Isn't
think
it?
it's wasted players, I guess. But
No, absolutely. No, I completely agree.
Oh, well.
I mean, we've done question 1, and we are 20 minutes in. So I think, Morgan, it might be time to do a
better get a shift on.
Yeah, not that we're rushed, but it would just be nice to.
Just looking in the background, I can see you've got an Arsenal cushion.
A what? Whoa! Can we not not put that hyphen in the middle? Just call it one word. Go on, say it one word.
Sorry, I'm a bit slow sometimes. You have to forgive me.
No, just Arsenal.
Arsenal. Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal.
I mean, that's how they sing the song, isn't it? To be fair,
we've got an Arsenal cushion in the background. So I'm guessing you're an Arsenal fan. So which current player best embodies the kind of attitude and teamwork you try to instill in your output?
Don't say it, Connor.
I've always rated Saka.
Oh, I was going to write it down on my phone.
What?
Saka. But
you can guess what I was going to say.
Yeah. Carry on anyway.
Were you going to write Saka?
Yeah.
Were you going to write Saka? No, you were not.
He's very good at reading people's minds. That's mine all the time.
I just rate Saka because I've just seen so much. I've just seen so much of him of how he is with kids and all that, and like I've seen him like do like these surprise youth sessions. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he does so much for the FA youth side of football. So I just always rated what he does for it because he understands, and of course he's came up through the ranks, of course, and he's very new to the newer versions of the ranks, for example, like John Terry and all that haven't. They've done the olden days. Sorry for calling you old, John Terry. Hopefully you're not watching. But yeah, Saka's like brand new to it all. He's like, of course, don't get me wrong, he's been out of the academy now for quite a bit of a time, but he's still at that age range that he's came up in the newer generation. I don't want to I'm making me sound very, very young. But I am quite young. But yeah.
So I'm
only 22. That's not too bad, is it? That's very young, actually.
I was 22.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so do I.
But yeah, no, definitely Saka.
I think it's I think that's good. That's a good role model. And again, like I know Rashford doesn't play for Arsenal and stuff, but the stuff he's done for like
but he does the exact same.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Do you know what, there's a school I work at that have houses like named after people, so like Mother Teresa and all that, and one of the houses is Rashford.
Oh, amazing.
Let's go. Because of course what he's done for schools is unbelievable. Like, of course, especially through those I think was it through COVID maybe or something like that. He done so much. He just and then he got his MBE, didn't he? And all that.
But I think it's funny because I thought about this earlier because I was watching TV and he sort of came up on the show or whatever I was watching. And I was like, oh well, people are always like, oh, he should stay out of politics and stuff. But it's like, but he's like boots to the ground. You know, he's that sort of bridge between the people that don't have stuff and Whitehall or Houses of Parliament or whatever, who just are so far removed from any of that kind of thing that they don't have a clue. So I love the fact that you said Saka and obviously sort of backed that with Rashford as well, because I think it's that I suppose it's good to see. Maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know. Like you said about John Terry and those guys, I couldn't ever imagine them doing something like that. Can you, Jez?
No, but they sometimes, not that they feel like they have to. That sounds really bad to say, doesn't it? But I think they do it because they love the game. You know, look at someone like Frank Lampard. Yeah. You know, look at what he's doing look what he's doing at Coventry this season. And, you know, I know it's probably a different point entirely, but you know, I think it's important that these ex-England, big England players put that community groundwork in. So yeah, no, 100%. I mean, yeah, Saka was the one I thought you were going to say. To be honest, Connor, Morgan,
there is quite a few. There's quite a few good ones. Like not a lot of. I mean, I think the world of him. Matt Letizia is another big one. He does so much for youth. Like he came in the company I work for. He came and coached them the other week. So I mean, my boss is like really good friends with him. Like my boss is was the Bournemouth academy coach for many years, and all that. And I mean, very quick shout out to my boss, which is I think another big thing. He gave me the credit to be able to coach with a disability for his company. So I mean, I think that's another
What's
big
it?
thing because
Well,
none of this would
when
be
you say
possible
shout
if you
out,
did not give me that opportunity.
you got to say his name now.
He doesn't have a tag or anything. His name's just Jody Rivers.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, he doesn't have a tag. But yeah, but I mean, hats off to him for giving me the credit or giving me the opportunity to actually coach. Otherwise, nothing would be possible for me to inspire people and all that kind of stuff to be able to coach and all that.
Nah, fair enough. Good. I think Morgan, I was going to ask you from the current Norwich squad, who would, same question, who would you say would be the player
that embodies the kind of attitude and teamwork that I try to instill in my output?
Yeah, why not?
I don't like any of them.
He's fair enough.
I'm only kidding. They won't be watching this anyway. Hopefully not. Jack Stacey.
No one from Norwich City watches our. I was going to mention. Brilliant. And I was going to mention him.
Stuff that he's done for the Community Sports Foundation is incredible, and like the fact that initially he didn't really want to talk about it because he didn't want to be seen to be, I think sometimes people, like you said a second ago, people do stuff to kind of be seen to be doing it. But I think he just did it because he gives a shit. And that's exactly why we do this fucking podcast. It's because we give a shit as well.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay, so Connor, are you still there or you disappeared?
I'm still there. You guys disappeared.
Oh, good. Yeah, you just disappeared for a second there.
I don't know what it was.
Okay, so moving to question 3 then. So has a smaller person ever influenced your, has being a smaller person ever influenced your coaching style or the way you approach challenges on and off the pitch?
So yeah, like I said, I think the smaller part is big part because I've got even like a documentary coming out on me about being basically small. It's gonna be called Larger Than Life, and it's about me coaching the ladies. So it's when I was coaching ladies, and it's got loads more editing to do and all that. But I think being small has had like a big effect. Like you have doubters. You have, for example, I post on TikTok mainly. That's my main social, and I posted one of me coaching jockeying. I coached jockeying, and the amount of people that have seen me as a small coach, and some people have been absolutely phenomenal about it, and some people you're gonna have haters. As someone with a disability, trying to show people that anything's possible, having been small, of course, it makes you have doubters and haters, and I've had a amount of things. I've been called, I don't know, I've been called Meter Crouch, I've been called Neymar Junior, I've been called, I don't even know, Meter Schmeichel. There's loads. The Miniesta, Pep Guardiola. I've been called them all. And I think it's actually been a good thing. Me getting called them, the algorithm's really nice, and when they message, I get more viewers, and I'm happy I get more viewers because I can show people that do care and want to watch me because they like what I do. And I think being small has the positives of the fact that I can show kids, not just kids and adults, so kids and adults, not just the kids I coach, but coaches that want to coach that might not have the confidence, just to get off the lazy bottom and give everything a go, to show that even having a disability or being small does not stop me from being who I want to be. I think that's the main thing, and I think it's said way too much. With people with disability, it bugs me sometimes that it's expected. Oh, with someone with disability, oh, you're such an inspiration. You got a disability and you can do it. To me, it's my normal life. I want to live my life like everyone else. Don't get me wrong. I want to, of course, inspire people to understand that they can do it, and maybe like kids that's not got I don't know, confidence, or might be confidence, it might be anything, but just give everything a go, just give everything a try, give everything a shot, and then you will make it as far as you can go. And people always say, of course, um, try and like look at your future, don't worry about anyone else. The most wise words I've ever been told. So my boss told me this when I first started, because I used to overthink. I was like, oh, someone said this about me because you're small, how are you coaching? My boss said this, and it will always be stuck in my head. It was the best quote he's ever told me. I tell it to everyone, is why would I take criticism from anyone that does not, I would not go to for advice? So for example, if someone gave me criticism, if I'm not going to go to advice from them, why would I take
Mm,
criticism from them? Like, why would I
yeah,
do
Yeah,
that? And that's, I think, a big thing in life. People need to understand, if you're not going to go to them for advice, why take criticism from them? It makes just total sense, I think.
no,
But yeah,
yeah.
it's a really good point. Do you find that people sort of almost sometimes maybe ignore your disability almost on purpose?
in what way do you mean?
So I suppose in a way, like they're coy about talking to you about it. Like we've been obviously quite open, and you've been very open with us to talk about it. Do you think some people don't like
Yeah.
to address it and will sort of like kind of
Well,
pussyfoot around it, as it were?
so I've coached in schools for about 5.5 years. Because I'm used to the kids and all that. I've coached ladies for about 2 years now. I mean, just ended, like I said. And in the 5.5 years, or 6 years of me fully coaching, I have always got to the point first. I go straight in with the point of me being small. I make it a point.
Mm,
I always have
okay.
done, and I always will. And I think that's the difference between me and someone not have the confidence going and just getting straight to coaching. I'll let the players know. Right, I'm small. Hello, I've got no femurs. Blah blah blah. I can still coach. I'm still a I'm not a top coach. And when I say a top coach, I'm not being big-headed. I know my coaching. And that's because of what I've learned. I'm not saying I'm the best coach. No way. And of course, having a disability does affect a bit of my coaching. I can't do everything to the highest level, but I
Mm,
would like to say I know what I'm talking about, and I can coach stuff. Just because I've got a disability, I adapt around that, which of course we'll probably talk about in a bit. But yeah, I think that's the importance of, I go straight into the point and tell them, right, I'm small, I'm still this person, I'm still human, I can do everything that a normal coach would do. I just of course have a little bit of a different impairment. And I go to
yeah,
that point straight away. I think that's the best way to do it, personally.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. That's really good. Really good. A really interesting perspective to sort of hear your point of view on that. Jez, have you got anything else to say?
No, as I say, I think you kind of covered it really well. I think you're such an inspiration to, you must be for a lot of people. And I think that, the biggest thing you mentioned there was the lack of coaches that we have in this country. And again, obviously, I use Fiona as an example. She used to, she regularly used to say, oh, there's teams that need coaches and stuff. And loads of clubs I was involved with had youth setups that were the same. There was just a lack of volunteers that wanted to give up their
Yeah,
time to make sure these boys and girls had opportunities. So yeah, I think inspiration, mate. Just keep doing what you're doing. Particularly the stuff that you do in the schools as well. It's key. It's you'll make a real difference to their lives. And if they
yeah,
can go, if they can come to you in 10, 15 years time and say, oh, Connor did that for me, that's the real winner
yeah.
for me.
Oh,
That must be
Yeah,
the driver at all
I,
times, I
I
think.
don't think you're exaggerating either, Jez, because
No,
like I said, if had I have enjoyed my my tenure in football, I think things would have been panned out differently. And instead, I didn't. I hated it, and that sort of rocked my self confidence for years to come. So, Connor, if you're able to help any child as sort of that side of things, then more power to you, brother. Um,
mm.
Speaking of your coaching career, then, can you tell us one moment from your career that you've made you think? I mean, you kind of touched on it already, but this is exactly why I do this.
do you know what? Actually, very very weird one. It was actually there's there's one moment the other day, and I just started working at a special needs school. So I was coaching in a special needs school, and it was just random. I've been coaching there for about just over 2 months now. So my company goes into different schools. I say my company, the company I work for, should I say, goes into different schools and just coaches their PE and all that. And we just started this special needs school, and I started there for the company. About five weeks in, I got a random message on my coaching page on Facebook, and it was just a parent, and they said how emotional they were because I've been able to get their kid to love sport, and they're like, my kid won't shut up about you," and that, I think that is a big thing in life. You can make an effect on a kid even with special needs, and not just special needs. I've had it before. I've had like the amount of, like, you get those, of course, thank you letters. I had a year 6 last year at the end of the school year by me. Of course, their parent was actually a TA, so their parent knew what I drink and all that. And I had a card, and sometimes they make you teary with, like, I think the card was like, do you know what? I have it somewhere. I have it actually at the top up there. I keep my so up there. I have like what I coach and all that, and I don't know, like, but I've got a thank you letter up there, and do you know what? I'm actually gonna read it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
read
go
it.
get it.
All right, go and get it.
You're gonna read it. Oh. Oops. We won't talk about that. Right. We're gonna read it. I won't say the name, of course, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so it says, and is this the card? Yes, it is. It says, dear Connor, thank you for everything you have done in this year. I've only known you for a year, but this has been the best year ever. You have made me be the most confident person from being someone that was scared, not being able to do PE. The chats we've had as one-to-one, so I done one-to-one with this kid as well. The chats that I've had one-to-one, you've gave me the most confidence to be able to go into secondary and be able to strive in my next future. So I think that's quite a rewarding thing. Like, little things like that are so rewarding, so rewarding, in the fact that you can, you've made a difference. Of course, I go into primary schools, so even just making those difference for them to be able to go into secondary, being confident, is such an importance, I think. And I think that's the thing that you want to. I think being the coach in primary, I can give them that chance at a young age to know that they're worthy of going up, and I think that's the main thing. Just being able to make a kid know they're worthy, know that they can do stuff with their life no matter what happens. You're going to have knockdowns. Kids are going to have knockdowns. Adults has knockdowns, but unfortunately, you just have to get over the barrier, and that's, I think, that's the point that I'd want to get across. And I think I've got across to quite a few kids, and I think it's not just me. Any teacher would want that, but I think with me having a disability, you can just show it even more to a higher level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is the that's the winning formula, isn't it? Because like me and Jez, we do this podcast, and we're like, oh, it's a football podcast, but to me, it's sometimes a bit more than that. And like what you've just said there, like, you're like, okay, well, the backdrop is, the framework is football, but you're helping that child confidence, like outside, not just within football, but outside of that realm as well.
Well, do you know one thing my boss is always, what my boss says to us all the times? So we, of course, coach our academies on a Monday night. So we coach our football academy on a Monday night and a Wednesday night. One in Salisbury, one in Chelmsford. And working for Australia, so that's the company of my name. The company of my name, my company's name. He's always said to us, working in schools, everything we do in schools, from talking to adults, talking to kids, doing one-to-one sessions, doing PE sessions, builds all the things up to us being a good coach. I think that's the importance of still relating to coaching. We coach in schools, but that coaching in schools, we bring it to coaching the kids at our academy, and that's, I think, the good thing. We work with kids all day, so that's why I think I'd like to say we are elite coaches that can coach high level, but that's because of the experience we've got in schools as well, which of course resembles to this podcast with, of course, the coaching and how coaches, but how I think we can be better with the kids, because we just work with them and we understand them better, maybe. I think that, because of course normally you get no disrespect, because hats off to every single volunteer. I volunteer, like I said, on a weekend, but you get like parents that have maybe work in an office, parents that maybe do work in a building site that don't work with kids every day. And then of course, then you got, of course, like I said, of course, I get paid to coach for our football academy, but I think all those skills can be put into that football, if that makes sense, for them to get that
100%.
coaching.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think that is a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, such an integral part of a person's life is that initial period of their childhood. I mean, Jez, we sort of talked about this with Lewis as well. What
Yeah.
are your thoughts on it?
No,
You've worked with children as well, like in your day to day now.
kind of, yeah, sort of. I mean, but no, I think touching on the football side of things at that early, and we've said it all the way through this episode, at that early age, yes, it is about participation in sport, but it's also about that mental side of things. It's also about that ability to communicate with others side of things. It's all about the having fun.
Yeah.
And I think these things, those three things that I've said and what Connor's described, that leads you into what you do later in life. And
yeah, we touched on that.
They're the things for me that are really, really important and really crucial.
If you cast your mind back, and I mean back to when we spoke to Drew Broughton in January,
yeah,
we talked about the element of fun in football that I think kind of gets sidelined as you get more professional, I guess. And I think he bring that up then as well. He was like,
yeah,
you just want to have fun. You just want to get out of the grass and have fun again.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's good. And I mean, I worked with 3 or 4 companies similar to what Connor works for, and they're not the dream sellers that some companies are. They're the ones that go into the schools. They're the ones that want to see that personal development as well as the football development. That's the crucial thing for me. I mean, what level coach you at the moment, Connor, and what's the aspiration?
So I'm currently just doing my FA level 2 now.
Right.
I start because I'm still young, so it's been the FA level 1. When I was doing it, it was mental because it was like there was just, of course, it all changed over COVID, and then it was trying to change back and phase back into the coaching. I wanted to be further than what I am, and I should be further, but it just was knocked back so much with everything that was going on. So it's just I'm working on my FA level 2 now, but yeah, I'm FA level 1 at the moment.
But the thing is, mate, I think there's a lot of coaches that go, I'm a UEFA B coach. Here's my badge. And the thing, what the point I'm going to get at is they don't do F all with it. You live and breathe it. You go in day out and do everything that you can. And
I was talking. I don't know if you know. Do you know Kev Weir? I don't know if you know Kev Weir.
Name rings a bell, but I don't know where from.
So I was speaking to him about qualifications. All qualifications do give you just the knowledge on the safeguarding and all that. Most of them, like FA level 1, for example, there's not really any football in it. It's just safeguarding, which is understandable. You've got to know all that, but there is no coaching. When you get, of course, up in the qualifications, I've sent off videos before to FA qualified coaches, and they're like, "Oh, you must be UEFA B." No, I mean my boss is UEFA A and all that. I've learned so much off him. Of course, he's, like I said, he's been in the game for years, so of course I'm gonna learn stuff off him. I think that I learn more of him than I would in a coaching qualification, 1,000,000%, because he's had the experience. This is the thing that qualifications don't understand. They don't understand, for starters, who your kids are. No, not just one coach could go, right, I've got this qualification, I can coach every single kid in the world. No, you can't. Kids need different needs. You need to understand the kids. You need to do. Coach qualifications are just the fact that it's just a thing on a sheet of paper where they think, well, because I've got that, but they don't. You need to understand the kids, and that's the thing. Kids are different. Adults are different. Just because you learnt something does not mean that you're going to be amazing at it. Just because you've learned a session, well, can you adapt that session? So, for example, if you had a kid that, as you could call it, a session wrecker or whatnot, or someone that struggles, maybe not a session wrecker. That's a harsh word. But someone that struggles so hard, well, can a coach adapt to that? And not all coaches could, because they've not got that experience. They've got a qualification that means absolutely.
Excellent. Right, guys, we are. You killed me there with that, because I literally pressed play and then you came in with a punchline. I love it. I'm ready, other than the knees. You've done me. Anyway, so we are back with Connor. This would have seemed like a millisecond for our viewers, wouldn't it, Morgan? But it's been about 15 minutes for us. But never mind.
Yeah, we won't talk about that, guys.
No, it's fun. Morgan, I'm going to pass over to you to finish tonight's episode with the now vintage,
infamous.
Okay.
Colin doesn't know what's going to happen.
I don't.
Random question of the week. So now you're back on. See, this is what
Never
I need.
seen anyone do the drum roll. That's brilliant.
I need a hype man like you, because Jez is useless. So now we can see your room. On your walls, you've got what appears to be cards, magic decks of cards, right? So we'll get onto that in a second. But
Okay.
if you could create one magic trick for any footballer, what magic trick would it be, and what footballer, and why?
I don't know. That's a great question. That is a very random question of the week.
That's what it's called, random question of the week. You got it. Jez is working it in his head. Jez is like, I can see it in his eyes.
All I hear right now is the countdown. Do. And it's under pressure. I'm under pressure of thinking about what magic. What? Do you know what? It sounds really, really weird, but I'd love to do just any. I don't know, trick wise. I don't know any trick, but Jack Grealish, what a lad! I think he'd love a trick.
Yeah,
he's a party guy, isn't he? He's just known to love partying. Like, he's a legend in the partying world. So I think magic would be like ideal for him. His reaction, I think, would be OTT. Like, so over the top, right? Surely. He reacts to everything. He loves everything. He loves life. So I think doing a magic trick to him would be cool. But I don't know what magic trick. That's a great question. Just any card trick. I'm a card magician, you see. I used to love card magic.
So tell us a bit about that, because that's what.
So very, very random. So before the famous COVID, that is, before that famous thing, I used to love doing magic. I used to do parties on the weekend. I was still young. I was 15, 14. I used to love doing tricks and all that. I had so many events and all that. But then when COVID hit, you couldn't go to those parties. You couldn't do all that. So my small business went downhill and went down the drain. And I kind of slowly gave up with it. I've always loved magic. Loved it since I was a kid. It's kind of my way to entertain people, because I've always been someone that wants to I'm a people pleaser. I love entertaining people. I'm a comedian. Like, at the academy, I'm the funny coach. I mean, not just 'cause I'm funny looking, but because I try and make some jokes. But I'm always the fun coach, in the fact that I am on their level, literally, but like on their level, messing around. Like, I know, of course, my standards of discipline and all that, but hey, when there's a funny joke that I put on a funny joke. You got to. I use my disability for the funny jokes as well. But no, the magic kind of slowly drifted away because of COVID, and it was all because of COVID. So hey, who knows? If it wasn't for COVID, would I went into all those coaching qualifications and courses that I did through COVID? I don't know. So maybe it was a good thing, maybe it was a bad thing. I'm not sure. But I mean, I've always loved magic. So yeah,
Jez,
that's why.
I'll throw that over to you, Jez. What player and what trick?
Yeah, he was thinking. He's ready.
Yeah. I mean, I always have the benefit of having about 2 or 3 minutes before.
Yeah, lucky guy.
Beforehand. To obviously think of my answer. So the player would be Ricky Van Spoelswinkel. And
where's this going? Where's this going?
The magic trick would be to show him how to score goals, and I'd use the medium of Grant Holt's football boots, which were magic.
Oh, that was good. I'd put
Thanks.
Robbie Savage in one of those boxes where you chop in half.
And just not connect him back.
What, get it wrong?
Get it badly wrong. You killed Robbie Savage, Morgan.
Oh God. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where this podcast is going sometimes. But there you are.
Hell.
There we go. Connor, just before I let you go, then, thanks first and foremost for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to.
No worries
to know
at all.
you.
It's a good little 50 minutes of my life.
Good.
You won't
good.
get back.
I won't get it back, but do you know what? It's content for you guys. It's for a bit of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I hope it helps you as well. And just from all I'd say, and I'll say this to everyone, is just remember us when you're rich and famous, and, you know, just remember the guys that put you there and helped you out along the way.
Who's that? Who's going to be rich and famous?
You.
I don't think I'd want to.
Fair enough. No, it's
I don't know, maybe one day, but hey. I'm happy where I am.
Millionaire celebrity special.
Do you know what? Actually, I'm not going to be big-headed right now, but I'm being big-headed. Very random. So I took part in a doing it for the kids Southampton charity event. So you had like the likes of loads of footballers there, the old Pele, and all that, all ex-Saints legends. And the funniest thing ever. I was a coach and player, so I was their coach and player. I was the only one that got the assist for my team, by the way, just so you know. Lovely little through ball, bail. Back to it. Through ball to field champion. Anyway, back to it. At the end of the game, there's quite a lot of people watching. It was a big charity event, and loads of people were signing everything. This kid came up to me and was like, "Oh, you're the guy from TikTok." And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And then I signed his thing. His dad wanted me to sign his other son's t-shirt and wanted me to sign his t-shirt. And all of a sudden, the kid just got his phone and passed the phone, I'm not joking, to James Beattie and went, "Can you take this photo?" I was like, "That's James Beattie. I hope you know who that is." I'm not joking. You'll see the video on my TikTok. I've got it on my TikTok. It's the funniest thing ever. They just pass it. And one of the stewards go to James Beattie, "Do you want me to take that for you?" Because James Beattie was just like, "Yeah, I'll take it for you." But I thought to myself, you do know, he's like really famous in the football industry, and there's me that's just down here, literally down here, just on TikTok, at coach's TikTok, and you're asking for a photo over that guy. That was the accomplishment of my life. I was like, yes, love it.
Amazing.
I'm not famous, and someone on a photo with me over a famous guy. I was loving life.
No, definitely.
Maybe my head's grown a bit big then, but I thought that was absolutely amazing.
No, it's good, and you deserve it, mate, for the work, as we said earlier, for the work you put in. So
I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
No, definitely. So is there anyone you want to give a little shout out to before we finish?
In what way? Shout out to? I mean, I've gave a shout out to my boss quite a few times. My boss is a legend, but like I said, he's always the guy that I'm going to shout out. I mean, the company I coach for, Strella Academy Football, but apart from that, myself, Connor Sanderson on TikTok. There you go, Connor Sanderson on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, please do give them.
But no, apart from that, it's not really anyone else. Everyone. I mean, there's loads of people that have helped me towards my career, but of course, the main guy himself is my boss, Jody Rivers, who's, like I said, done everything for me. Gave me the opportunity to be able to coach and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a legend. Maybe you do a podcast with him.
Yeah, please just send us his details, because we love talking to anyone connected in football.
I want to do a podcast with him. He's, like I said, he's done Bournemouth Academy. He's coached tier 3 football, so he's done Poole Town and all that. So if you ever,
that sounds great.
If you ever do want someone, I can get him on.
No, that's excellent. Morgan, I've got a message for you, someone, before we finish, if that's okay.
More than, listen, you've got no friends, and I tell you what, mate, if you want some, I will definitely deal with you.
I haven't seen that for a while. That was what we were talking about before, Connor. It's the Wildstone Raider. If you type him into YouTube, it's probably a little bit before your time, but he
calling me
was
old?
No, I'm calling him arsehole.
I know.
It's not you.
I just wanted to see what you'd say.
Okay. Well, look, I think that's a really good place to leave it. So thanks to everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe on our channel for more great content. You can follow us at all of the social.
There.
Oh yeah, I put that in, didn't I?
That's cool.
Next to your name. You have to actually point the other way. I think it's like opposite on your camera. And also we are proudly supported by Master Seal and High Design. I've been Jez Davies.
I've been Morgan Hewitt.
Oh, do I need to say something? I don't need to say anything, do I?
I've been Connor.
Oh, I'm Connor. Yeah, it's in a bit. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.